Welcome to the Sound Healing Global Summit, a free online event featuring leading-edge sound healing practitioners, revealing the curative and evolutionary powers of sound healing therapies to create vibrant health for you and your clients. Share this event with your friends and family, and come join us on Facebook at The Shift Network. And now your host, Alec W. Sims.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Sound Healing Global Summit. Appreciate you joining us here for this new session. And our special guests coming up this time are Dean and Dudley Evenson. Flautist Dean Evenson and harpist Dudley Evenson are award-winning sound healing pioneers and videographers. In 1979, they co-founded their label Soundings of the Planet with a mission of spreading peace through music. Over the past 4 decades, they have produced over 90 albums and videos, taught sound healing workshops and online courses, and co-authored a book on music and meditation called Quieting the Monkey Mind: How to Meditate with Music. Dean and Dudley, welcome.
Thank you.
Grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good to see you again. So last time we spoke, you were just getting ready to celebrate a major event, which is the 40th anniversary of your record label. I bet that was quite a gathering and celebration.
It was amazing. All our artists, not all our artists, but a lot of our artists came, and we had a wonderful evening with video showing from all those years and musicians playing in different groupings together. It was great.
I love it. That's a brilliant testament to the ongoing appeal of your music and the enjoyment and benefits it's brought to people all these years. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. But now here in 2020, I just said you're getting ready to celebrate another major milestone, which is your 50th wedding anniversary. So also congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's an inspiring good run, as you know. Yeah, where does time go? But that's inspiring. That's an inspiring, beautiful run of both partnership, both as creators and marriage partners. So how did you two meet and begin creating and collaborating together?
Well, I left grad school to go to New York City and become a recording engineer. I got a master's in molecular biology, but I wasn't fully engaged in it, even though I had a fellowship and everything. But I found myself spending most of my time playing music with a folk group that I created and a rock band. And so I decided to go to New York City and learn about the music business and everything that was happening there. And I just so happened to move across the hall from Dudley.
So I'd just gotten back from living in Japan, and I really got into photography there and kind of ready for my life to really happen. We were both in our mid-20s, and we were just kind of fortunate to meet early on, and we were ready. And it was a powerful time. We met in 1968, so it was a very, what's happening today versus what was happening then, they're very similar. And there's just a lot of energy and learning and growing and really involved. We became very involved in the, civil rights protests and anti-war demonstrations. And, it was just like, oh, something is changing in our world. And then in 1970, we bought our first, we were going to make films no matter what. We really wanted to do that. So we ended up buying a Sony half-inch Porta pack. It's called black and white half-inch tape. And it was the first time people could actually go out and videotape.
It was video.
Yeah. But there was also, we didn't realize this, but there was sort of a video movement going on at the time, and we became very engaged in that. And that was really about basically putting tools of media and communication in the hands of people. And of course now, People take for granted they can go out with their cell phone, and thank goodness for cell phones, because they are documenting a lot of things that would not normally be known. But at the time, we had this. How big was that camera?
It was
8 pounds or something.
This.
It was a big one.
It was big.
Well, it was connected to a 35-pound deck by a long cable, and that was portable video. But it was very important to be able to participate in that energy, right?
Yeah. We got to get on the ground floor of that process. And the video equipment inspired people to take ordinary things.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about the difference between the video gear that you were working with then versus the incredible convenience of cell phones now. They're just, handheld and instantaneous. So would you like to say a little bit more about that?
Well, we took it as a kind of a part of our mission to really document what was happening in the world, because this was the 1970s. Dean and I ended up living in a half-size school bus. We gave birth to our second daughter in the bus. We visited, we were at the first UN conference on the environment and met 15 Native Americans. And that was very inspiring to us.
That gave us an inspiration for a whole different way of looking at life. And the phrase Mother Earth was just coming into use. And we got to be introduced to the Native Americans and hear their wisdom and their gracious wisdom, their very sharing wisdom. And it inspired us to want to think more about the earth and help other people think more about how special it is to be here.
Well, Dean was invited to go out to Wounded Knee and videotape the negotiations there with the White House representatives after that big demonstration in South Dakota. We videotaped gurus. We really were learning meditation and yoga. And there were, as we mentioned, the environmental movement was brand new. There were so many new ways of considering living on this planet that were coming about in the 70s, in the aftermath of the protests of the 60s. So we were there with our cameras, our video camera documenting it, but we didn't really have a way to share it. And so, that kind of was an issue, because we'd made these programs that were important, but there was no distribution. So that kind of left us like, now what are we going to do?
That's an interesting parallel you just drew between 1968, that time of emerging social consciousness and also social unrest, compared to now. Similar things are going on. But your company motto is peace through music. And I like to think that's part of the solution and the evolution. So what does that mean to you? And how do you feel your music has been so helpful, helping people with stress relief and relaxation and all the other benefits?
We knew we were for peace, and we wanted to help create that and get other people to focus on peace also.
Well, Dean, when we first started our music recordings, we were actually inspired by a Ram Dass lecture. He invited us to record it in Tucson, Arizona. And we passed out a little order form that said, buy this cassette for $5, and we got 50 orders. And so if you can picture us coming from the technology of the 70s and early on, there was no way to communicate, no way to distribute our media. However, we thought, well, people have cassette players at home. So it was a good time for us to reevaluate our direction. And I will say that being successful in anything, whether it's a relationship or a business or a career in music or whatever it is, to be able to have a long-term process, it's really important to be able to reevaluate and change direction when necessary. And so that's what we did in 1979 when we recorded Ram Dass. And then Dean went out in the nature and recorded the birds, and we added our
and
music.
I was interested in getting the sounds of nature on into the offices where decisions were being made about the environment. And so we felt that mixing the natural sounds and music with that intention would be a way to help the process, help everybody get more focused on how special it was to be relating to this natural planet that we're on.
And of course, our intention originally was to communicate the messages of Mother Earth and the importance of preserving our planet and our sustainer of life. But what we found when we first started selling our music, and of course we had those little cassettes, and we took them out just swap meets and crafts fairs, and then eventually CDs. But people would come up to us, and this surprised us because we didn't really quite know it. We had been into meditation and yoga, and we'd just been learning about massage. It was brand new, literally, at the time. But what happened is people would come up to us and say, wow, your music is really helping me to deal with the stresses of my life, or I have chronic pain and I'm using biofeedback in conjunction with listening to your music. And so it helps to settle me down. And then what you heard from Children's Cancer Ward or something like that?
Yeah, there was a cancer ward in Montreal, children cancer ward, and they were using our music to mellow the children out and to help with their healing process.
Yeah, it was a hard time. Kids and Ocean Dreams was found to be able to reach an autistic child who nobody could connect with him, but the music helped. So we were going, okay, there is something going on here. And it was thrilling to be able to come from one place wanting to share the energy of the earth, and then find out that it's also helping people. And we really spent many years researching what were the aspects of the music that really hit home for people, and were able to have an effect in a way unanticipated. But then once we were aware of what was happening, we really wanted to develop that and share it more. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So in addition to the nature sounds, I think that's a valuable service to bring the energetics of the natural world to people maybe disconnected from it in other ways, living in cities, offices, and buildings. But I think back to the pure music itself, other than the beauty of the compositions and the musicianship, are there any other elements that you incorporate through conscious craft that help contribute to that relaxation response?
Well, certainly the slow pace of the music helps to entrain the body and all the systems in the body, slow down the breath rate, slow down the heart rate, the digestive system settles down. So those kind of things help. And then Dean became aware of the earth resonance frequency. And so that was a big thing to use.
I was excited to find out about the earth resonance frequency. The earth has a frequency that is natural for it to occur in the atmosphere of the earth. And it was calculated by a mathematician, and then it was measured. And the basic vibration is 7.83 cycles per second. That's the resonant frequency. Is, think of a bottle and you blow across the top of the bottle. That tone you get is the resonant frequency of that bottle.
And same with the flute. If you're blowing through the flute, you're changing the flute holes and size of the cavity.
So we decided to add that to our music to have one more element of earth relationship support. And it's interesting also that that frequency is the body, the mind puts out frequencies depending upon your state of consciousness. And it has, when you're moving real fast in your life, you have one type of frequency. And then
it's your beta mind, where you're busy, your
busy mind,
mental.
And then as you get quieter in your mind, you go down to an alpha point, and that gets into the 8 cycles per second statement of what's happening with the brain.
Well, so you're right on the cusp of alpha and theta, which is a beautiful place to be, and that's why we included it in our under the
you don't hear it. It's subliminal, but it seems to work.
Yeah, it's in training your brain waves on a very subtle level. So in addition to the slow pace of the music and the beauty of it, and I think it's really important to consider that music is an art form, and you can't like say it's this, or this. You can play slow music and add bird sounds, but it might be kind of depressing. You never know. Or some of those slower pieces in classical music, I think they're very moody, and that's not going to give you the sense of healing and upliftment that
we'd like to be in the joy space.
Well, that's your intention too. So you're carrying the music carries the intention of the art of the artist and stuff. So those are just some of the aspects of music that we've discovered that really seem to help. And we've just been really fortunate. Yeah, a lot of great musicians.
Those are all great goals, because continuing that theme of peace through music, it works on the the overall societal level, collective conscious level, but also can be applied very powerfully back on the personal level and interpersonal level. Because as you're celebrating your 50th anniversary, just thinking, a lot of people are in search of extra tips on how to enhance their relationship to make it more harmonious. Do you have any suggestions on how people and couples can enhance their connectivity through music and simple practices like vocal toning?
Well, toning is something Dean and I love to do. And we discovered that years ago and just, work through the chakra toning. We love Jonathan Goldman's system of vowel toning. And then, of course, have been working with Deobrat Mishra, who's an Indian sitarist and also a vocalist, and learning about the Bija mantras and the Hindustani scale. So toning together has just been super fun. It's just something Dean and I love to do. We just hang out after dinner and tone.
What happens when you tone, two people tone the same note, they become one with that note and one with each other in the process. It's very subtle, but it definitely happens. And you get to a place where you're transcending the moment for sure. And toning it yourself is special too, because it gets your sound to come from your body, from the inner of your body. And that reaches out and affects the environment that you're in.
Well, just being able to sit across from each other or next to each other and either look in each other's eyes or have your eyes closed. What do people do together to enhance their relationship? How do they celebrate? How do they have a date, a romantic date or something? I mean, life becomes so busy. There's so many things that we have to consider just to keep the family going and make sure the food's on the table and the house is ordered and we have a house. So, I mean, we're just struggling, a lot of people with just basic issues. And I think this past year has been a really a challenge for many people. So what can we do as individuals and as a couple to have time to spend quality time together? So we're not like just talking about stuff. I think it's like what you're trying to do is turn off the mental processes and just go into that space of empty mind. And so that's just something Dean and I really enjoy doing. And I think what's interesting is it involves the breath. And of course, toning for us, we first became aware of it in yoga. We were first taking yoga classes way back in the late 60s and early 70s, and where you're just like, breathing and making a sound and ohms. And, in those days, we got into lots of ohming and ant circles and things like that. And so what you're doing, two things. One is you're focusing on your breath, and you're not focusing on a mental idea necessarily, although you can put an intention in, make a focused intention, which could be peace, or it could be harmony, it could be healing, it could be anything that you're interested in. And so by using your voice and regulating your breathing is going to help so many aspects of your physical body and your emotions. And then also when you do it with a partner, it really is fun. And it's just like, for us, it's joyful and it just makes us happy.
Yeah. And we listen to each other.
Yeah.
That's another part of being close to one another.
And Dean and I like to sing. What?
Oh, and as you know, it's important to underscore this is not just a musical practice. This is open for all people. That you don't have to be a musician or a trained singer to do this. Would you like to say a little bit more about that?
Yeah. That sound is frequency. And it's available to everyone. You don't have to be a trained singer to get into the sound that you get from toning. And it's intimate. It's yourself, which is another reason why we're doing it with someone else is very special, because you're both getting into an intimate space.
But it's also something you could do with your children, and you can do it in a group where you might want to set an intention and let the voice come out. And like I say, different levels and sounds and mantras and that sort of thing. But also, Dean and I have been trying to remember how singing, just singing itself, because we're musicians, but we're not trained singers, and we don't release recordings of our singing. That's not what we do. We work with fabulous singers who really can use their voices, but singing for fun. And I remember, both of us sang in choirs, church choirs, when we were younger. And then I remember singing lullabies to my children, or we would be sitting around a campfire in a gathering space and singing songs. I think also some of those early civil rights and protests demonstrations we were involved in, there was a lot of sound and music that went along with it, and chanting and enhancing people's enthusiasm for the issue at hand. We even last year started having singing groups at our house, just like inviting people over and bring some songs, and people can do karaoke, or they can just look up the thing. And it's nice if you have a person who can play a guitar or piano or something, or lead you, but you can also go online, and there's plenty of ways to do that. But picking songs that mean something to you, to your family. Children loves to sing. So I wish the whole world could be singing, because I really think it would be a healing for all of the world if we could lift up our voices and sing and really feel that sense of joy, inner peace.
That's a great point that we can all continue to remember, because it's really only been the last few decades, the emergence of the modern recording industry, where recordings are everywhere, and that split from performer to listener, really, that divide has been increasing. But probably even the early parts of this century, singing was a very communal, family, connective, social thing that didn't have those divisions that we have now. So that's outstanding to encourage bringing that back.
Well, and there are a lot of other ways that non-musicians can use music to enhance their relationship with their intimate a special person, or maybe with their families, or even just in a group. And I really I play an open-tuned harp, hand harp. So as long as you can sort of read a tuner and keep your strings in tune, it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. People can use Tibetan bowls or crystal bowls. That's a popular way of including music in your life.
Any way to make a joyful noise.
As a Native American style flute has 5 notes, and so it's a pentatonic scale, and you're going to be able to play it much more easily. A round drum is another way of including music, and that can also be used in when you want to sing and chant. So I just think it's fun to find other ways of bringing music back as a participatory experience instead of, as you said before, the audience, and then you've got the performer out there on stage. And we're so used to, and that was one of the things with our early video, that we really wanted to enhance people's sense of themselves, and that everybody is important, everybody has a message, a meaning. And when we share who we are, it's exciting, because when people could see themselves back on video in the early days when we were first showing themselves, it's kind of taken for granted now because YouTube and everybody can make videos. But that was a big deal, because it was all about celebrity consciousness and what the famous person said and who the big cheese was. But everybody has a message, and everybody can bring music and healing into their own life. So just really can't say enough about the importance of participating in the musical experience for personal healing, relationship healing, and also for global lifting up our spirits and getting our communities to be more engaged.
Yeah.
And as you've noted, a lot of the gateways are simple. First, simple practices with your own voice, vocal toning, and also some of these instruments that, yes, you could spend a lifetime really mastering, but to get started, they're beautifully simple. Do you have an example of any of those instruments on hand right now? Could you give us a quick demo?
Just so, just getting a bowl. The bowls. Yeah. When we were in Nepal years ago, I think one of these bowls came from there. These Nepalese children showed us this way of, here, let me just, where you, and that was just, many people have seen it since, but for us it was pretty cool because it showed you the physicality of the sound and the vibrations, because by not even touching it, you could moderate the sound. And then, of course, my harp is, this is another, this is called, Barbie Edwards makes these beautiful harps. And so they have this lovely tone, and it's just, lay it against your heart, and it just feels so good. And I can imagine that the more people who, as long as you've got the patience to tune the strings, it's a wonderful instrument for healing, and just carries such a nice, and for me and Dean, Dean and myself, it's been helpful because he, of course, can do melody with flute. But I think of this as such an important healing instrument as well.
Well, since you have them out now, would you like to just play for a few moments and let the music do the talking here?
Sure. Our pleasure on that.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And the music always says 1,001 words, but words are still good because on that note, I believe you're offering a free download of your book, Quieting the Monkey Mind, How to Meditate with Music, offering as a free gift to people who take advantage of the Summit upgrade package. Would you like to say a little bit about how that book came about?
Well, for years, of course, Dean and I have been, traveling the country and presenting our music, and then teaching workshops and sharing information about the chakras and just how music can help in the healing process. And so we figured it was time. We've done so many musical albums and guided meditation albums, and it just seemed like it was time to put the words down in print. And so we made a book, and it was we really had fun because it's got a lot of beautiful illustrations. It's very user friendly, and I feel like it's bringing, for somebody who's meditated a lot already in their lives, it's going to be adding another tool with the music and sound and the vocal toning. But also for someone who's never meditated before, it's a very user friendly, simple way of connecting with the idea of meditation and just the basics, and then having the extra fun stuff with the music can help. Yeah. So we were just really excited. Got another book coming out too this year, and it's 52 affirmations. So it's a year of guided meditations. I'm not sure exactly how the title is going to go, but it'll be out soon as well.
And you also, in the spirit of a similar goal to what we're doing with this summit, you also produced a brilliant video series a number of years ago that was some of the effect of sound healing meetings with the masters. Was that the correct title?
Sonic healing. Yeah, we did a series of interviews with 30 sound healers, including Jonathan Goldman, John Borsenko, so many wonderful musicians. Well, and non-musicians too. But it was really a great opportunity to videotape these people talking about what they'd learned in their process. So Sonic Healing Meet the Masters is a 10-part video series. So, yeah.
Outstanding. So if people wanted to find out more about that and more about your book, and also the prolific catalog of music that you put out, where's the best place to go for more information?
To our website, soundings.com.
We were lucky we got a one name website, and I think we got our website.
Makes it easy to remember.
96. So yeah, so soundings.com, and it'll link to all our social media. We really encourage people to check out our YouTube channels. We have 2 now. One is Soundings of the Planet, and it's all it's music with nature, beautiful nature videos. We just released an album called Healing Resonance. I have a lot of great videos with collaborations with Scott Huckabee, who plays a handpan and also a fantastic guitarist. And then Phil Heaven is our engineer, Dean's right-hand man, and he plays viola. And so that's just come out. And then we have another channel that's called Soundings Mindful Media. So these are both on YouTube. And that's where we're really beginning to put our archival videos up online so people can watch the early ones. First one we put out was a Ram Dass video, which we recorded of him in 1984 or 5, I think. I can't even remember. It was in the middle 80s. And then, we had a video of the Hopi Prophecy, Thomas Benyakia talking, David Mononia, Hopi elders. These are some of the people we met in Stockholm at the UN conference in 72. And so we're just continuing to put out more and more videos. We just released one of Richie Havens. That was in 1973. He's singing the song Freedom. Oh my gosh, when we found that, we were so excited because he is just sweating out that song, and it is so powerful. And it's so important for people to watch Richie Havens singing. He's the one who opened at Woodstock, and they were running out of, they kept telling him to please please play some more, because the other fancy musicians, rock and rollers, hadn't arrived yet. He was new and they hadn't arrived. They said, play some more, play some more. And so he'd run out of songs and he started singing, improvising on Motherless Child. And that's became the song Freedom. So Richie Havens was a real true hero for us. And we used to run into him a lot in New York when we lived there. So anyway, those two channels, and also social media, online video, Facebook, Instagram, Dean Evensons, Bounties of the Planet. You'll find us. We're there. Everywhere.
Yeah, it is incredible, the media available now, as you've seen so many changes in the music industry and the way things are distributed. Now you can just pop it on YouTube, as opposed to, as you were saying earlier, just driving up to the swap meets, with cassettes. So I salute you for 40 years as creators.
We'd be lucky to sell 10 cassettes in a weekend sometime. 20, that was big. We'd sell 20 cassettes. But today, because of streaming, and of course you can search and follow Dean Evenson on Spotify and Pandora and Apple Music and Amazon, and any of the other artists that we work with. So the streaming, I think last year was about, he passed a billion listens on.
Yeah, we reached more than 1 billion listens on Pandora.
And that's just Pandora. So it continues to grow. Be sure and sign up for Dean Evenson, when you go to Spotify and all those other places. And Pandora, they're all great. Yeah. And so because we have so many albums, it's super helpful because we're not needing to travel. Like, we traveled everywhere for years and years and years. And now we're in our mid-70s and we don't mind staying home.
We're homebodies now.
We like being home. Or reaching out through the Shift Network. And I'm really grateful for the work the Shift Network does, because I think the programs you have done are fabulous and much needed in this day and age. And I appreciate you being very contemporary, especially with the current issues that have been going on this year, staying present with that.
Thank you. And yeah, I just can't let that go. 1 billion lessons. That's 1 billion listens. That's very impressive. So congratulations.
Yeah.
That certainly saves a lot of mileage in the car, thanks to streaming. Has good and bad aspects. But yeah, my compliments and congratulations once again on 40 years of creations and sharings from Soundings of the Planet, and congratulations on 50 years of marriage and successful partnership. So thank you for all that you continue to create and share, and thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks for our 3 wonderful children and our wonderful granddaughter who helps us doing different things at Soundings of the Planet. So we're kind of grateful for our family to have kind of been involved in all this whirling around that we did so many years. So we're grateful for our Soundings team that helps us and so many things. So thank you all. Thank you for hanging in there and being part of the solutions, because that's what we need more of. Positive connecting.
I hope. Thank you all. Thank you all to everyone out there listening. You are always appreciated. Thanks for being here. And on that note, we will let this session come to a close. So appreciate you having you with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Sound Healing Global Summit, brought to you by the Shift Network. To learn more, visit soundhealingglobalsummit.com. To join our global community of people awakening to their divine humanity and taking inspired action, visit theshiftnetwork.com. Thank you again for gathering with us and for sharing this healing path with your friends and family.